Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the astrological energies from December 30th to January 6th, 2021. Obviously, we are closing out one calendar year and beginning another, but we know the energies continue on, they continue moving, and we are going to be entering some very interesting energies as we move into January. So as we finish out 2020, I did want to talk about New Year's Eve because the energies are really interesting when we look at the moon. So we just had the Cancer full moon that was big, emotional, perhaps something came up that you needed to be aware of, something was brought to your attention, and that's because both the sun and the moon were squaring Chiron and also being activated by Uranus. So there was definite shifts, and it's a releasing energy, releasing patterns, releasing emotional energy, releasing something that maybe you're just complete with. But then the moon moves on, and it's going to be making some oppositions to all the planets that are in both Capricorn and Aquarius energies. So we have this moon in Cancer, which is a feeler, sensitive, likes privacy, wants to be alone, is opposing Mercury in Capricorn and then Pluto in Capricorn. There's something about the last 2 days of 2020 that could feel big, that could bring you out of a perception or bring you out of something that you've been thinking about or focused on. This is an opening energy to see something from another perspective. It can also feel quite emotional. Then we see the moon enter Leo, and it will oppose Saturn in Aquarius and Jupiter in Aquarius. And this opposition is always interesting because the moon moves fast. The moon takes about 2.5, 3 days to go through each astrological sign. And I feel like what's happening as the moon in Cancer and moon in Leo oppose these energies in Capricorn and Aquarius, we're really getting into more of the heart of who we are, what we need, and how to travel with our power as we move into this next energy and to these new experiences. There's something that's shifting at a very deep level, and I feel like the last few days of 2020 could be uncomfortable. There could be something that's like a push or a pull. There could be something that other people want you to do and you don't want to do. I mean, this energy has tension in it, and the other part of that is that you could be feeling the tension within yourself of who you have been and this new energy that you're becoming or activating, the new parts of yourself that you're stepping into, that you're more aware of. And there's something here where we're bridging different areas of consciousness within ourselves. So I do feel that the last few days of 2020 are energetically big, potentially, because of the moon's opposition to all of these planets, and where you might not know answers or you might not have a clear understanding of something, but there is a push and pull, and it's okay to just allow that to be. In fact, that might feel like the easiest way to maneuver through these energies is to be in that place of stepping back or pulling away in order to really hear yourself, hear your heart, hear your messages. It's like there's something about this moon that could feel challenged by external energies, external noises, lots of voices. You know, it's sort of like if you have lots of people in your head, right? A lot of people are telling you things or they're giving you information. There's a retraction energy here that might feel really good to honor so that you can hear yourself, hear yourself think, hear how you feel, go into what this time in your life has really been about for you, and to be clearer on that. Be clear on that for yourself. So then we move into January, and here we are, new year. What a cycle we've just moved through. And we start the first week of 2021 with Mercury, the messenger, opening us up to some new understandings of what priorities are right now. So Mercury is going to sextile Neptune in Pisces at 18 degrees on January 1st. And then Mercury is going to be conjunct Pluto in Capricorn at 24 degrees. This is important. This means that we're trying to do some planning, strategizing, getting clear. And if you perhaps do, say, New Year's resolutions, or you do something about your intentions for the year ahead, or your key word, the word you want to guide you energetically for this year. There can be a lot of communications, information, ideas, things happening, even a sense of busyness, like wanting to get things moving, wanting to get things started. This Mercury in Capricorn is serious. It wants to be aware of the details of the direction, what's the plan, what's for certain, what can I count on? And as Mercury conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn at 24 degrees on January 4th, this is actually a key degree here because, as you'll recall, last year, we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction at 23 degrees of Capricorn. Now here we have Mercury coming through, asking us to really think about how we've transformed, what has shifted in our lives in only 1 year. 1 year that maybe felt both really long at times and really fast. And this Mercury is getting some new ideas about the direction, the purpose, the next area of your life that you want to go that perhaps wasn't available to you previously. Now, this conjunction at 24 degrees of Capricorn is also important because coming up in the middle of January, specifically January 12th and 13th, we have a very powerful Capricorn New Moon at 23 degrees. So Mercury comes through this very active degree point, highlights something, brings in information, opens up our awareness to new ideas, new thoughts, things we didn't see before, things we didn't understand. It opens up some new potentials here. And then on the Capricorn New Moon, the Sun and the Moon are conjunct Pluto at the same degree point that we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction a year ago. So we have this ongoing story with these Capricorn energies that are assisting us in reformulating and restructuring our lives. And of course, this happens in waves and in pieces, and things come in at certain times. I feel like as January gets going, be really clear about what calls to you energetically, and also be really clear around what has expired for you. It could feel like a heaviness. It could feel like an obligation. It could feel like I just don't have energy for that. I don't have time for that. I don't want to do that anymore. There's been a very big shift in our priorities, especially as it pertains to our life direction and what we want to be doing with our lives, what we want to be doing every day even. So I feel like this first half of January is asking you to be very clear on your priorities, where your time can go, what's the best use of your daily expenditures. And that could just be everything. I mean, that could be what you do professionally. That could be how you spend your time with other people. That could be, of course, finances, profession, career. There's something here where it's really important that we're aware of our commitments and to change your commitments as needed to fit and honor what's important to you now. This can be where you are saying no to something, or you're having to decline or pass on something that maybe you always said yes to, or you always thought was correct for you. This is a time of moving forward into new areas, new energies, new sense of yourself, new understandings of what matters to you now. And as such, we will be saying no to anything that isn't in that alignment, that isn't in that place of truly honoring what matters to you now. So again, there's something here that could be potentially pretty clear cut, where I have to say no to that. I have to let that go. I'm not drawn to that anymore. I don't have time. I don't have energy. Look at what is coming up for you that maybe feels heavy or burdensome. Again, you don't have the energy for it, because part of January is ensuring that we are on a path that really honors and respects how far you've come, how much you've changed, how much we've been required to change over the past year. And now we have the potential to move forward with new dreams, new visions, new possibilities, new doorways opening based on what you have learned about yourself and your life in general. So a very interesting start to the new year, as choices are important, commitments are important, and being very honest with yourself is also important. On January 5th, we're going to see Mars in Aries finally clear its shadow in that area of your chart that it's been moving back and forth. And so Mars is done with Aries and moving into Taurus on January 6th, 7th, depends on your time zone. And Mars enters Taurus, and this is where things really get moving. It gets going. There's energy here, but it's a pacing energy, because Taurus is all about taking the practical, concrete steps, giving oneself time, allowing things to form and come together in a realistic manner. So whereas Mars in Aries was very gung-ho and wanted to get things moving, but had a lot of frustrations, had a lot going on that wasn't allowing that Mars to do what he wanted to do. And this was, of course, the energy of maturing that Mars in Aries, which I have been talking about for many shows now. And now Mars is essentially elevated and has the ability to move ahead at a new level of consciousness based on what he's been learning about himself. So there has been a lot about looking at how we operate, how we move, how we use our energy. And as Mars is now in Taurus, we're going to have some realistic application of that understanding. And Mars becomes very busy over the next 2 months, as this Mars in Taurus is going to interact with every single outer planet over the next 2 months, and is going to have opportunities to accelerate, to do a bit of, it seems like leapfrogging. It's sort of like where you thought you were held back, or where you thought something wasn't coming together, it wasn't moving along, nothing was happening. Now there's an opportunity for change to show up and for something new to form. Now, Mars in Taurus is of course an earth energy, and it's looking at what really matters to you right now that you want to put energy into, something that you want to pursue. You want to make it real. You want to bring it into form. Mars in Taurus is going to energize us for those goals. It's going to show us what really has staying power, what can be built, what can be concrete, and also what does not have enough legs. Mars in Aries is typically very inspired, and it can be impulsive and impatient. It's a bit like, oh, I have this great idea, I'm going to go for it. And then as soon as Mars enters Taurus, you get tested on how that's really going to be applied. Can this really come together? Is this really something with staying power? And how can I bring it together? How can I make it something tangible and something real? And because of this, Mars in Taurus has to go slower. So Mars can still feel a bit frustrated because he wants to go faster than he can. Yet as he connects with the outer planets over the next few months, he is going to have opportunities to accelerate and to move ahead. So know that now is a time to be pacing yourself, pacing your energy, being very aware of where it's going every day. And of course, also checking in with your body, listening to your body's messages when you're too tired, when you're run down, when you need to take a break. But this Mars in Taurus has fortitude. It has the ability to stick with something and to see it through. That is one thing about Taurus energy, is that it can be very determined. It has perseverance. It has resilience. So if you can step into that and allow that to support you right now, this can be a very productive time to move ahead in the new areas of your life that you've been wanting to build and make real. So there's support now, finally, for this Mars to be productive. And a productive Mars is often a happy Mars. So use that to your advantage, as we do have many planets in Earth signs right now. So we will have Mars in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, and then we currently have Mercury, the Sun, and Pluto in Capricorn. So these are where we are restructuring our lives. We're bringing together the necessary components, lining up our duckies, if you will, getting clear on what matters right now, and allowing the excess to be removed, to fall away, to not be something that consumes our time or energy. Now, the sun is in Capricorn, and as it moves through Capricorn, especially in January, that's where we get the desire to look at the year ahead. That's where we determine what is important to us right now. And we've been talking about Capricorn energies for a very long time now, so you're probably very clear on some of the overarching themes of Capricorn, which includes your life direction, purpose, career, profession, what you do in the world, how you walk with self-respect and personal integrity, what you do that shows up in your life. This can also be related to consequences. This is where we have to work through other commitments from other lifetimes. Soul contracts have been showing up and ending. Things have been coming to our awareness around the bigger energies of our lives. And as the sun moves through Capricorn, it lights up parts of our lives that maybe have been dormant or at least not energized. And so here in January, we get energized by the sun in Capricorn to see where we're going next. This, of course, is our priorities and what matters to us this year. But I feel like the sun is actually warming up parts of ourselves that have felt probably exhausted, run down, world weary, and giving us a new rejuvenated spirit for the next leg of the marathon, so to speak. It's bringing in a sense of, look at how far you've come. Yes, there have been big world changes and personal changes. There's been a lot required of us in the past year. This is where the sun comes in and warms up what we can do, how we can be productive, what matters. And so if you have felt that you're uninspired and that it's just been very hard and very challenging, I feel like the sun in Capricorn cycle is reminding us that we are made to keep going, that we have endurance, we have strength, you have the ability to stick with it, and that even when you're tired and worn out, it's absolutely okay to rest. In fact, it's needed, it's required. That's partly why the human body is designed to sleep every night, is that we need the downtime. We need to rest our bodies, rest our brains, rest everything that our physical structure does for us throughout the day. But then the sun in Capricorn reminds us that now is a new cycle. There is a lot here coming up that could also be reflective, because it can show you how far you've come. It can show you the mountains you have climbed, but to remember there's more to be experienced. There's more you can do and more ways you can go. And the Capricorn energy gives us that strength and that perspective. So allow this time, if this resonates with you, to come in and give you reminders on how far you've come, what you've moved through, what you've experienced, but then let that sun, that warmth, the light, the heat of the sun to warm up anything inside of you that needs inspiration, that needs a sense of possibility. That sun in Capricorn can give you new opportunities and possibilities for your life. It can show you where to go next. And this can be exactly what's needed if you're at a crossroads, if you're uncertain, if you're not clear, if there's a lack of clarity. This Capricorn energy can bring you clarity. Now, also over this next week, we're going to see the Venus in Sagittarius energy conjunct the Galactic Center on January 6th at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. And this is a very open energy where we can feel the inspirations coming in. We can feel it coming through. Anytime a planet connects with the galactic center, there is an expansion of consciousness. There are openings into new possibilities, new potentials, and new areas of growth. And Sagittarius is about how we grow, how we learn, the wisdom we take in, the wisdom we've accumulated. I also feel like anytime a planet moves across that galactic center, it opens us up to the consciousness of our soul. How the soul's energy is timeless. It always exists. It's always around us. And now we have this stream of energy coming through that can give you new understandings about who you are in this lifetime. I also feel with that Venus energy being related to divine feminine, related to feminine energies, related to love, abundance, manifestations, and receiving, we can have new inspirations around what we feel drawn to at this time that is speaking to you, and it's speaking to you from a soul level. It's that higher frequency that isn't simply from your brain or your mind or anything in your human body. It's a higher energy strain reminding you why you're here and what you need to feel supported. So I feel like this is a beautiful energy. Every time Venus connects with the galactic center, we do get higher downloads also of love, of unconditional love, of the love you can receive from the universe, God, source, spirit, also from your own soul's essence. So there's this opening energy coming through, and this again is on January 6th and 7th, and it's opening up our ability to feel supported, to feel cherished, and to feel loved. And so if that is something that really calls to you right now, be aware of these incoming streams of support. I'm actually going to say January 5th, January 6th, January 7th, because that's when the energies are going to be coming in, and it feels like there's downloads coming into the heart chakra. So if there's something you've been working on in the heart chakra, anything you've been learning or healing, anything you've been growing, expanding, these are going to be very important days for allowing energies to come in that can help you feel grounded and clearer in the heart chakra as well as within divine feminine energies. And so I'm also getting the message that this is an energy that's coming in to basically fill up parts of the heart that maybe were emptied out or lost, removed throughout 2020. So in 2020, we had Venus in Gemini retrograde. And during that retrograde period, Venus made ongoing squares to Neptune and Pisces, which is the removal, the endings, things shifting, things no longer serving their purpose. It's the emptying out of a container. And then over the last week of 2020, we had Venus in Sagittarius square, that Neptune in Pisces again, also a removal, also an uncertainty about relationships, wanting to understand, well, what am I learning? What's happening here? I can't quite see it, or I don't quite feel it yet. And so there's been shifts in relationships throughout 2020. And I feel like it's all been when this Venus energy has been interacting with Neptune through an ongoing conversation. So there could have been relationship changes that were really confusing, really difficult, really hard. Perhaps there's things where you realize you're not on the same path, you're not growing together, you're not learning together, you're not expanding together. Now as Venus moves across the galactic center, I feel like there's incoming streams of love to support whatever's been removed. Whatever's been cleared out, whatever you had to let go of that maybe didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. Again, it was confusing. You weren't certain. Maybe you weren't even certain what the lesson was or what you were learning. Again, there can be a sense of not understanding just yet. But as Venus goes across the galactic center, she gets a burst of energy from the cosmos about who she is at a soul level, what she's been learning, what she needs. And there's a fortification here that wherever there have been open holes in the heart chakra, and I'm seeing it as Swiss cheese, wherever the energies have felt open, this is where there's new incoming support systems that I feel are these newer, I'm going to call it love vibrations. It can also be new kinds of connections to people, new openings for friendship, new openings for relationships, new openings for partnerships because of what's been cleared out. And they're showing it to me as some plants in the garden that just weren't able to keep growing. Almost like it just, there wasn't enough at some point. There was something that it just wasn't in alignment. It didn't have the necessary essentials. Like there's something that got cleared out. And there could be new opportunities here where what comes in is something that grows with you. And these again are the Sagittarius energies of what we're learning about ourselves. And I'm also feeling like there could be some new definitions that you are forming and understanding about Venus energies. New definitions of relationships, partnerships, friendships, connections. New definitions of what you need to receive, what feels correct for you based on who you are now. New understandings of what is in your heart and how to connect with others at a heart level that reflects back to you your own truth. So there's energies coming in here that are going to open up the heart chakra. It's interesting. I'm actually feeling it as the heart chakra and the crown chakra, that there is a symbiotic relationship here. There's synergy moving between what is honoring you, what is correct for you, and also it's like it calls in those new energies that are mirroring back to you what you need in the heart, but they're showing me it as related to spiritual growth. So I hope that makes sense because it feels like that's part of a replenishment. There's a replenishment of energies coming in. Now, Venus does have a big month ahead in Capricorn when she moves into Capricorn. That happens January 8th. And so we're going to have some deeper rewiring and reprogramming around relationships throughout January and throughout 2021. And it feels like these are energies that are directly related to more of the people who are energetically correct, who are of a similar frequency, who are willing to grow in the same ways that you are. So keep in mind that there could be some more messages coming through that you're meant to understand about what that Venus energy needs. And you'd want to look at your natal Venus. Your natal Venus will show you how you are developing love for yourself in this lifetime, your capacity to receive, understanding your self-worth and how you're valuable as a person, and then the relationships and connections that form as a result of that energy within you. And keep in mind that on my YouTube channel, I do have different playlists that talk about different parts of your astrology chart. There's one playlist called Learn More About Your Astrology Chart. And within that playlist, I do have an episode about the Venus energies in your natal chart. So we are all feeling this reprogramming of divine feminine energies. It's reprogramming, but it's also growth. It's also understanding what calls to you now, what connects with you now, and how to love yourself every step of the way. How to love yourself during the confusion, how to love yourself during uncertainty or when you don't know what's next or what's coming up. There's a sense of really making sure that you're still traveling with a sense of love for yourself through all these different stages and all these different energies. So 2021 begins with strong energies of these personal planets and is helping us understand, again, what our priorities are right now, what matters to you, what you're planning, what you're wanting to build, what you're wanting to move towards, and also ensuring that you are traveling with this sense of love in yourself, because that's going to help you move through and navigate more of these changes that are unfolding throughout January. So I do have the January 2021 Soul Growth webinar available. It's only $11 when you use coupon code Capricorn. And I hope that that helps you plan for this first month of the year and helps you see how we are ready to embark on some new adventures here, how we're ready to step into more of what is honest for us based on everything that changed in the past year. And of course, we will continue this conversation about the current energies every Wednesday. And every Monday is when I do the special topic on astrology energies and help you understand more about what's going on or what's happening in your own chart. So thank you so much for joining me for this week's show. I appreciate it, and I am looking forward to what we are going to experience in this year ahead. I just released for you part 1 of the Saturn squaring Uranus energies that are happening 3 times throughout this year. Those are the biggest energies of 2021, and it's important to get an understanding of what it means and the potentials of how it could show up. So I will be back next Monday with another podcast episode for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that the new year begins in a beautiful, wonderful way for you. And I hope too that ultimately you're feeling inspired around what you can create and build in your life next. So I will see you back here soon. As always, thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a beautiful start to 2021.